Have you ever considered transforming your garden into a wildlife paradise? Picture the allure of a wildlife pond, a tranquil oasis that beckons a symphony of creatures. From the delicate damselfly to the melodic songbird, each finds solace in this verdant sanctuary. This isn't just about creating a picturesque landscape, it's about embarking on a transformative journey, one that breathes life into your garden. Imagine the joy of seeing your garden come alive with the buzz of bees, the flutter of butterflies, and the splash of frogs. A wildlife pond is more than just a beautiful feature, it's an ecological powerhouse. This simple addition to your garden can become a beacon for local biodiversity. By creating a pond, you're offering a lifeline to many different species. Frogs, toads, newts, dragonflies, and even birds will all appreciate this new water source. And as these creatures move in, you'll see an increase in the variety of life in your garden, contributing to the overall health of your local ecosystem. But the benefits don't stop at biodiversity. A wildlife pond also provides natural pest control. Frogs and toads are great at keeping slugs and snails at bay, while dragonflies and water beetles will help control the mosquito population. This means you can enjoy your garden even more, without worrying about those pesky insects. Water conservation is another major advantage. A pond can act as a natural reservoir, collecting rainwater and reducing the need for artificial watering in your garden. This makes it an excellent choice for those looking to garden more sustainably. Moreover, a wildlife pond creates a unique habitat. It provides a safe haven for aquatic life and also offers a place for birds to wash and drink. It's like creating a miniature nature reserve right in your backyard. And let's not forget the aesthetic appeal. The shimmering water, the rustle of reeds, the sight of darting dragonflies. It's a daily dose of nature's magic. It's incredible how one garden feature can have such a profound impact on the local ecosystem, isn't it? Before you grab your shovel, there's some planning to do. It's true, every great project starts with a well-thought-out plan, and creating a wildlife pond is no exception. Let's start with the location. Think about where your pond would thrive best in your garden. Ideally, it should be a spot that gets a balanced mix of sun and shade throughout the day. Too much sun can lead to an overgrowth of algae, while too much shade can limit the variety of plants you can grow. Next, consider the size of your pond. This might be influenced by the space you have available, but remember, even a small pond can be a big boon to wildlife. Whether it's a mini oasis tucked into a quiet corner or a large central feature, there's no wrong size for a wildlife pond. Now, let's talk about shape. A wildlife pond doesn't have to conform to any particular form. It could be round, square, a natural-looking amoeba shape, or anything in between. However, it's beneficial to include shallow areas for birds and mammals to drink and bathe, and deeper zones for fish and amphibians to thrive. Pond placement is also vital. Think about the proximity to trees, as falling leaves can clog your pond and alter the water chemistry. Also, consider the safety aspect, especially if you have young children. A pond located too close to a play area or pathway might not be the best idea. Lastly, don't forget to check if there are any legal requirements or permissions needed for creating a pond in your area. These can vary widely, so it's worth doing a bit of research to save potential headaches down the line. And there you have it. By considering these factors, you can create a plan that suits your garden, your local wildlife, and you. So, sketch it out, make a list, and get ready to see your plan come to life. With your plan in place, you're ready to start building your wildlife pond. The next step is gathering the right materials and tools, but we'll save that for the next scene. For now, let's revel in the anticipation of what's to come, your very own garden oasis. Now it's time to gather your materials and tools. First, let's start with the essentials. Pond liners. These are the unsung heroes of any wildlife pond. They form the bedrock, quite literally, of your project. Polyethylene, PVC, or rubber liners are all great choices. Each has its own strengths, so pick one that best suits your garden's needs. Next, we need rocks. A variety of sizes, from pebbles to boulders, will create a natural and visually appealing edge to your pond. These stones also provide cozy nooks and crannies for insects and amphibians to make themselves at home. But what's a pond without life, right? That's where native plants come in. They not only add a touch of green to your pond, but also serve as a habitat and food source for your garden friends. Be sure to choose a mix of submerged, floating, and marginal plants to create different layers of life in your pond. Now let's talk tools. You'll need a good, sturdy spade for digging the pond and a wheelbarrow for removing soil. A pond liner underlay will protect your liner from sharp stones, and a water pump will fill your pond once it's ready. A pair of gloves will keep your hands safe, and a spirit level will ensure your pond's edges are even. If you're planning to add fish, a pond filter and an air pump are must-haves to keep the water clear and oxygenated. Remember, a healthy pond is a happy home for your garden friends. And finally, a little patience. Building a wildlife pond is a labor of love, but the satisfaction of seeing your garden buzzing with life makes it all worthwhile. So get your shopping list ready. Pond liner, rocks, native plants, spade, wheelbarrow, liner underlay, water pump, gloves, spirit level, pond filter and air pump. And of course, a good dose of patience. Armed with these tools and materials, you're ready to start digging. Get ready to get your hands dirty, it's time to build your pond. Creating a wildlife pond is a hands-on project, but with a little patience and effort, you'll have a thriving ecosystem right in your backyard. We start with marking out the area. Use stakes and string to outline the desired shape of your pond. Don't be afraid to get creative here. Nature isn't always symmetrical after all. Next, we dive into the real work, excavating. Grab your shovel and start digging within the marked area. Dig gradually deeper towards the center to create different levels for various plants and wildlife. Remember, the deeper the pond, the more types of wildlife you can attract. But don't forget to check local regulations on how deep you can go. Once you've excavated, it's time for the liner. Lay a protective underlay first to prevent sharp rocks or roots from puncturing the liner. Then drape the liner over the hole, ensuring it covers the entire area with some extra on the sides. Push it into the contours of the pond, smoothing out as many wrinkles as possible. Secure the edges with rocks or bricks. Now, we're on to the most satisfying part, filling the pond. Use a hose to fill it with water, ensuring the liner adjusts to the weight and shape of the water. This process can take a while, so take this time to clean up around the pond or start planning where your plants will go. Once it's filled, trim off the excess liner, leaving a border of about 1 foot around the pond's edge. Then, place rocks or pebbles around the pond to secure the liner and create a natural look. Great work. Now let's breathe life into your pond. A pond without plants and animals is like a garden without flowers. Now that we've got the pond built, it's time for the real fun. We're going to introduce some aquatic plants and fish into our little ecosystem. When it comes to plants, we want a mix. Surface floaters like water lilies, midwater plants for the fishes to hide, and oxygenators to keep the water clean. Remember to go native. These plants are well adapted to your local climate and help support indigenous wildlife. Next, we add in the fish. Stick with species that are easy to care for and compatible with a pond environment. Goldfish and koi are classics, but there are many other interesting species out there to consider. And let's not forget about animal care. Make sure to provide plenty of food and keep an eye on the water quality. With your plants and animals settled, your pond is now a thriving ecosystem. A wildlife pond requires care to stay healthy and beautiful. Just like any garden, it needs regular maintenance. One of the first things you'll want to do is ensure a clean environment. This means regularly removing any debris such as fallen leaves, twigs, or any other material that could potentially harm the pond's ecosystem. Water levels are also crucial to monitor. If levels drop too low, it could harm the plants and animals that call your pond home. Conversely, if the water level is too high, it could lead to overflow and potential flooding. So keep an eye on those levels, especially during periods of heavy rain or drought. Lastly, don't forget about seasonal care. Some plants and animals may require additional attention during certain times of the year. For instance, you might need to protect your pond from freezing during the winter, or provide extra shade during the hot summer months. Keep these tips in mind, and your pond will continue to be a haven for wildlife.